just in time for Memorial Day weekend. President Trump saying he won't shut down the country again, even if there's a second wave.
We're going to put out the fires. Whether it's an ember or a flame, we're going to put it out. But we're not closing our country.
More states taking another big step forward. Indiana allowing gatherings up to 100 people. Weddings up to 300 people getting the go-ahead soon in Ohio. And how different could your trip to the beach look this weekend? The new guidelines on the Jersey Shore that have everyone staying apart.
Urgent new warning. That rare inflammatory syndrome linked to COVID-19 seen in children now affecting young adults in their 20s. This morning, the symptoms to watch out for and the latest on a potential vaccine that could be ready as early as October.
Mask battle.
I had one on before, but I didn't want to give the press the pleasure of seeing it.
President Trump flouting the face covering policy in public on a tour of the Ford Motor Plant in Michigan. Everyone wearing masks in front of the cameras except him, despite factory rules and state law.
New arrest in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. The man who recorded the 25-year-old's final moments now charged with murder after the video that shocked the nation.
Bombshell plea. Lori Loughlin and her husband set to plead guilty in that college admissions cheating scandal. What they now admit to and how much prison time they could face.
Memorial Day distance, how to socialize safely with family and friends again. The important checklist from an infectious disease doctor on the front lines, and what you need to know about so-called quarantines.
And all the Friday feels. The hardworking hero with 3 jobs on the front lines, Anthony Anderson, has a big surprise for him. Plus, superstar Katy Perry.
I want to personally invite you to a special morning concert.
Kicking off our summer concert series in a big way, performing her new hit song only on GMA this morning.
Good morning, America.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
Katy Perry said it best. Good morning, America. It's great to have our guy and GMA Weekend anchor, Whit Johnson, with us on this Friday morning.
It's great to be with you. It's been a while in person, right?
Yeah.
I noticed Amy requested some extra space on this side of the desk.
We are 6 feet apart, yes.
Nothing personal, I understand. It's great to see you both. And happy Friday, everybody. And we're also excited to kick off the unofficial start of summer with our concert series. And, of course, the one and only Katy Perry.
Yeah, cannot wait for that. But we do have a lot of news to get to and some breaking news as we come on the air. A passenger plane crashing in Pakistan. It is an Airbus 320. We know 91 passengers and 7 crew members on board. We're going to have a lot more on that in just a few moments. But first, we have the latest on the coronavirus emergency. In the past 24 hours, there have been more than 25,000 new cases in the United States and more than 1,200 new deaths. Our new ABC News poll with Ipsos showing nearly 4 out of 5 Americans are concerned about contracting COVID.
As we head into the holiday weekend, every state is now taking steps to relax restrictions. But the CDC director now warning the virus could flare up in the fall. Chief National Affairs correspondent Tom Llamas starts us off at a beach in New York. Good morning, Tom.
Michael, good morning to you. If you're looking to party on the beach here in New York City, it is not going to happen. The mayor has made it very clear he does not want people traveling to the beach. He doesn't want people swimming here. And like a lot of the country, the rules about going to the beach are so confusing. In this area alone, there are 3 other beach areas. They all have different rules. The best advice this weekend, before you grab the towel, make sure you know what you can and can't do. This morning, with all 50 states at least partially open, the president saying he won't shut down the country again if there's a second wave in the coming months, despite warnings from the CDC that another round is possible.
People say that's a very distinct possibility. It's standard, and we're going to put out the fires. We're not going to close the country. We're going to put out the fires. There could be, whether it's an ember or a flame, we're going to put it out. But we're not closing our country.
Overnight, the nation's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, taking part in his first national TV interview in weeks.
I think you're going to probably be seeing a little bit more of me and my colleagues. There was a period of time there was a little bit lull in our being out there with the press, but I believe that's going to change.
This as more states are opening even further. Starting today, most of Indiana allowing gatherings of up to 100 people. Retail stores and malls now operating at 75% capacity. Alaska skipping straight to phase 4 and will be mostly open. Ohio announcing plans to allow wedding receptions of up to 300 people to start at the beginning of June.
We recognize that there are a lot of weddings and events that are important to people's lives. We are just asking that it be done safely.
Universal Studios in Florida hoping to slowly reopen as early as June 5th. All of this as thousands, if not more, are likely heading to the shores this holiday weekend. And in some cases, beaches will look a little different. Like Point Pleasant Beach at the iconic Jersey Shore. Officials there saying social distancing is key. Their town engineer determining the beach can hold 197 groups in roughly 18-foot square areas with 6 feet in between. And their mayor setting up new guidelines to keep lifeguards safe.
Their medical kits themselves are going to be outfitted with specific PPE, gowns, masks, gloves.
But while the country tries to return to some sense of normalcy, the New York Times reporting cases are increasing in 7 states. Alabama, one of those states.
Our healthcare system is at a critical point right now.
The mayor of Montgomery, the capital, worried about a spike in cases and the capability of treating patients in need.
Well, right now, if you're from Montgomery and you need an ICU bed, you're in trouble because our healthcare system has been maxed out.
Now, we also want to mention this morning some guidance from the CDC that has changed. It has to do with the contaminated objects or surfaces. The CDC now saying that if the virus is living on a surface or an object, it does not appear to be a significant mode of transmission if you touch it. The same with infected animals. It gets a little confusing. They say it's possible if you touch a surface and the virus is alive and then you immediately touch your nose or mouth, you could get COVID-19. But they're saying the main form of transmission still means person to person, and you still got to wash your hands. Experts say just be careful, Amy.
All right, makes a lot of sense. All right, Tom, thank you. Well, now to that urgent new warning about that rare inflammatory syndrome linked to coronavirus. We've seen it mostly in children, but now some doctors say they are also seeing it in young adults in their mid-20s. Stephanie Ramos joins us with more on this story. Good morning, Stephanie.
Amy, good morning. While the overall number of COVID-19 patients has gone down in New York City and other states, the number of children and young adults with this inflammatory syndrome has not, many of them testing positive for COVID-19 antibodies, suggesting they may have been exposed to the virus weeks earlier.
This morning, several doctors are warning that the rare inflammatory syndrome linked to COVID-19 is not just affecting children, but also young adults.
We've actually had a number of individuals, particularly through the teenage years, but clearly into very young adulthood.
Young people ages 20 to 25 years old, sick with the illness now reported in California and New York. Some medical experts warn the syndrome could present itself more seriously than it does in children, but it's still too early to know.
They may be more severe in this young adult population, both in terms of direct heart injury as well as a sort of blood vessel problem.
According to the CDC, symptoms of the multi-system inflammatory syndrome include fever, abdominal pain, neck pain, red eyes, and rash. In young children, parents should seek emergency care right away if their child has trouble breathing, bluish lips or face, pain or pressure in the chest that does not go away, or severe abdominal pain. The number of children with the syndrome is growing, spreading to 13 countries, and here in the U.S., cases reported in 25 states. New York Department of Health now investigating 157 cases in New York alone.
We don't know how widespread it is, but the more we look, the more we find it.
The COVID-related syndrome now raising concerns about schools reopening in the fall.
For young adults planning to return to colleges and universities, the CDC says the schools should recommend and reinforce the use of cloth face coverings, hold smaller classes in larger rooms, and check to make sure the room has proper ventilation. The CDC also notes that dorms should have physical barriers like plastic flexible screens between bathroom sinks and beds. Just some of the strategies listed on the site. Michael?
All right, thank you, Stephanie. We're going to bring in Dr. Jennifer Ashton to answer a few of our questions. And Doc, initially, They believe this multi-inflammatory syndrome only affected children. Are there theories as to why it's now occurring in young adults?
Well, Michael, right now, in terms of patients in their 20s, one of the theories is this picture we call infectious vasculitis. That's an inflammation of the blood vessels after or due to an infection, and particularly the blood vessels that feed the heart and the heart muscle, but potentially anywhere in the body. So right now, they're still connecting the dots on this picture, but most doctors who would treat these young patients in their 20s have never seen a case of Kawasaki syndrome because, again, remember, that usually happens in children.
Yeah, something new for everyone. And Doc, we also hear the first doses of a vaccine. It could be delivered by October, which is way ahead of schedule. What has changed in that?
So this is another contender, Michael. This comes from researchers at Oxford University in conjunction with the drug maker AstraZeneca. And the thinking and the hope is that they will be accelerating development and manufacturing of their vaccine, set to go into phase 3 clinical trials with 30,000 U.S. volunteers in the next couple of months. And the hope is that they can combine the steps, particularly those of manufacturing, at the same time as they do the research and the clinical trials, rather than do them one after the other. And when you talk about manufacturing, Michael, remember, hundreds of millions of doses potentially or more for the world with vials, stoppers, temperature controlled. It's a very specialized process.
Very specialized and a lot needed. Doc, thank you so much. Whit?
Michael, to Washington now, and the latest on President Trump. Our new ABC News poll with Ipsos showing less than 40% approve of the president's handling of the coronavirus crisis. And the president under fire this morning for again appearing in public without a mask during a visit to a Ford plant in Michigan that's currently making ventilators. Senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega joins us from Washington with more. Cecilia, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Despite the warnings from the state's top law enforcement officer there, the factory's own rules, and of course those CDC guidelines recommending facial coverings, President Trump again refused to wear a mask in public.
On a tour of a Ford Motor plant that now makes life-saving ventilators, President Trump openly flouted not just the factory's policy requiring masks, but Michigan law too. The president surrounded by auto executives, everyone socially distanced, and everyone wearing masks except him. At one point, he held up a face shield and even showed off a mask of his own, complete with the presidential seal.
By the way, Mr. Ford, here's my mask right here. And I liked it very much. I actually, honestly, I think I look better in the mask. I really did. I look better in the mask, but I'm making a speech.
But in front of the White House press corps traveling with him, he never put it on.
I had one on before. I wore one in this back area, but I didn't want to give the press the pleasure of seeing it.
He said it just wasn't necessary.
Everybody's been tested, and I've been tested. In fact, I was tested this morning, so it's not necessary.
Ford warned the White House about the policy well before the president's arrival. But with the president standing right next to him, Ford's chairman would only say this.
Mr. Ford, can you confirm that the president was told it's okay not to wear one in this area? It's up to him.
Later, after the president left, the company issued a statement saying Bill Ford encouraged the president to wear a mask and that while he complied during a private viewing of Ford cars, he then removed it for the remainder of the visit. After he left, Michigan's Democratic Attorney General let her outrage be known.
The president is like a petulant child who refuses to follow the rules.
And the Attorney General reminded the president that Michigan is a hard-hit state with more than 5,000 deaths. She says her office will now be having a serious conversation with Ford about this violation of state law. And she added that President Trump is no longer welcome in Michigan. Of course, Amy, this is a crucial battleground state.
Yeah, certainly is. Cecilia Vega, thank you for that. Well, now to the new development in the Ahmaud Arbery killing. The man who recorded the last moments of the 25-year-old's life is now under arrest. William Roddy Bryan, charged with murder by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation after turning himself into authorities. Arbery's family saying they believe Bryan was partially responsible for Ahmaud's death because he wasn't reacting to the scuffle or the gunshot. Brian told ABC News earlier this month that he was cooperating with investigators, but he would not say why he was at the scene or why he even recorded the video, which set off a nationwide outrage. There is no evidence Arbery committed any crime. Well, turning now to that breaking news, a passenger plane crashing in Pakistan. Some witnesses say the Airbus A320 tried to land 2 or 3 times before crashing in a residential area near the airport. You're seeing this video just coming in. The plane was carrying more than 90 passengers and 7 crew members. We are following the very latest developments and will keep you updated throughout the morning. Whit?
Amy, now to that shooting at a naval air station in Texas. The FBI flatly declaring this an act of terror after the armed suspect sped through a gate at that Texas naval station. The suspect was killed in the return fire from security after he wounded a member of the base there. Sources identifying the suspect as a local man, Adam Al-Sahili. The site intelligence group website last night was investigating whether the suspect might have been inspired by Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, the same group associated with that recent deadly attack on a military facility in Pensacola, Florida. The FBI says it's also looking for a person of interest.
All right, thank you, Whit. Now we are going to go to Gio Benitez and gas prices for the Memorial Day weekend. In almost 20 years, they are the lowest. This has come as expect to see low number of cars on the road. Gio Benitez at a gas station in Cliffside Park, New Jersey, with the latest. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, in some states right now, you can find gas for $1.50 a gallon. Here in Cliffside Park, we're seeing $1.89. The national average right now, $1.94. Now, while traffic is down dramatically, cell phone data is showing that more people are moving around over the past couple of weeks as states reopen, and they are traveling farther from home. Apple Maps also showing that requests for driving directions are actually going back up. But remember, emptier roads have led to more reckless driving. We have seen those videos of drivers speeding and crashing, and we're seeing a big spike in accident deaths. So several states are issuing new warnings about this weekend, and some are already saying they will increase DUI enforcement, Michael.
Yes, speed has definitely picked up with the open roads, Gio, but how long do we think these prices will last?
Well, some experts say that these gas prices are going to be hovering around $1.93, $1.94 for Memorial Day, but they do expect those gas prices to start going up. In fact, Gas Buddy is telling us that we should be seeing a national average go up to about $2.25 to $2.50 by Labor Day. Michael.
All right, thank you so much, Gio.
All right, we are following a lot of other headlines this morning, including that bombshell from Lori Loughlin. The actress and her husband will plead guilty this morning to charges in the college admission scandal.
And Memorial Day weekend at a distance. An infectious disease doctor tells us how she's using quarantines to stay safe while socializing. But first, let's go to Ginger. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Michael. You know that same upper-level low, kind of a stuck pattern that's been torturing from Great Lakes to the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast? Well, it is going to move on after this weekend, but look what it did. From I-95, you could see a tornado in South Carolina. That was just off the exit for Lynchburg there. But what we're going to end up doing is also seeing more storms back to the west, and we already did yesterday. Hail bouncing off the ground in Kansas, and this is the setup today. Violent storms possible, including tornadoes, but yes, 2-inch in diameter or greater hail. We have 4,500 joules per kilogram in Cape. That just means there's explosive storm possibilities from Wichita Falls to McAlester, Oklahoma, right into Fort Worth. So watch that as we go into tonight and this afternoon and early tonight. Local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, the weekend forecast sponsored by Caesars Rewards.
Things have been a little quiet around here. We've missed the fun. We've missed the excitement. We've missed the entertainment. We've missed the nightlife. But most of all, we've missed you. We're getting ready. Caesars Rewards. We can't wait to welcome you back.
right back. Stay with us.
This moment right now, this is our commencement. No, we'll not get a diploma or a degree of any kind, but we are